Life is a winding road, no telling where it goes. Driving through days and nights, won't stop for traffic lights.
Hey everyone, it's me Tricia. Thanks for joining me on my channel, Creative Unique Treasures. This is going to be a little bit different video. I thought I'd show you what I've been doing on the side of what I'm doing, the upcycling, like preparing patches for the flannel shirts. And I wanted to show you that you can create so much out of your scraps. And I'm sure you've heard of that before, but I wanted to show you what I've been up to. I've been doing appliques for the shirts, the flannel shirts for my show, and just wanted to give you some, maybe hopefully give you some inspiration. Not that you'll end up doing the same thing I do, but maybe you'll get something out of what I've done. And sometimes I mess up, and sometimes I'm like, oh yay, that turned out, it's a pleasant surprise or a happy surprise. But yeah, let's get started. So I started trying to do some painting on material, and this is one that I did a face. And let me move these out of the way so you can see it better. I'll bring it down a little bit. So I used a stencil and I painted it on, and then I ended up just painting out the outline of it, and then I filled it in with paint, and then I did do some material, flowers in her hair, and I did some stitching, I think they call it slow stitching with the embroidery thread. So then, like, this is the back, and then I just put, you know, this is all paint, and these are material, and then the slow stitching. Just did a whipping stitch. But that's what I did for that. I figured I could put this on a pair of jeans. And then this one, I tried to do a bird. I tried to do a bird, and I ended up taking a pair of jeans and just using my scrap material and making my own bird. And then I did some whip stitching around. And then I used little different pieces of appliques that were on other, you know, just your scraps, and just made like a feather, what I thought looked like a feather. This is a piece of felt, and this is the branch is like a piece of corduroy. And then I just kind of framed it in with some scrap material, just different pieces. And then I'll probably take and use my pinking shears so the rest of it doesn't fray, and just stitch it together on my machine, and just put it on a back of a shirt, or just use it wherever. This is my first bird, so he's kind of whimsical, wonky looking. He's not, this is, now this one here is my star, my version of a star. I know it's not, the normal kind of looking star, but I used a backing of a curtain for my backing, and then I just, I put my scraps on there. So just different things, zigzagged, and just little different, you know, creativity, using your creativity muscle. And this is just a patch. I tried to do a flower, but it didn't really turn out. But so I started twisting some lace around. This is a piece of felt that it's stuck to. And that'll just go on, you know, maybe a pocket or something. This is an attempt to a bird, if I can figure out how how this is like my first bird. So see, you just try, and I think this is supposed to be the beak. But that didn't really turn out that good, but I want to show you that, you know, just keep on going. This is a flower. I did it on jeans. And I ended up using embroidery and doing like a whip stitch around. So it's jeans, and then it's a piece of material. The pink is one material, and then jean circle, and then a piece of lace. This is just a, I took a square piece of material, and then I added a rose from a curtain, and just put a few pieces of lace, kind of like a shabby chic, kind of just something I'll throw on a shirt. These are some felt. I did some felt hearts that I still have to trim or do something with. This is just a piece of felt, and then just I did the blanket stitch around and did another heart inside. Very simple, just sitting down in front of your TV, watching TV, and here's I got to cut this off. It says love, and then it's got a butterfly. This is a piece of felt. This is just from a bed, a sheet. Actually, it's from a bedspread, and this is the top. And then I just added some lace pieces behind it, and then sewed the bed sheet to it. This is a flower that I probably should use a backing for. It's a very thin piece of flannel. But on top of it I put another smaller flower, and then a circle, and then I did some whip stitching, embroidery stitching. There's the back. This is a, like they call it a snippet roll. This is my first attempt to a snippet roll. And it's just a piece of flannel. This is my backing. And then I just sewed a bunch of different scraps to it. Bunch of smaller pieces on my sewing machine. And you can take and cut this and then just use it for patches on a shirt or pants, or just, it just has a bunch of different material, little pieces. I can still add more if I wanted to. This was the beginning of a scrappy doll, or a scrappy kitten. And this is the body, the front of the body that I cut out of a curtain. And then I started filling it in with, this was going to be the face someday. I mean, I stopped doing it. I don't think it is the best, but I look at it for inspiration for me to get a little bit better, because I think it's too plain, too subtle, and I like bright colors, so I have a harder time trying to calm things down. If you're more in the neutrals, you would have an easier time with neutrals, but me, it's a struggle for me, because I really like color. I like contrast. I like things to stand out, and this is like so muted to me, to my eye. But I love when I see somebody that does this. I'm like, oh, I wish I could do that. I wish I could be calm, but it just kind of, it makes me like go, it makes me doubt myself. So I try to do it because I know everybody likes different. than everybody else. Everybody likes, you know, some people like this, and some people like all of it. But anyways, this is my scrappy doll attempt, and someday I'll finish her. And it was going to be a cat, I think. But there, you know, this was going to be the face, the heart, and I was going to make a little, you know, eyes and the nose and the whiskers, and then fill it in with some different patterns and do some arms and some legs. But yeah, so I ended up stacking this with different materials and putting a rose in the middle and trying to make that more like the you know, the, what do you call it, like the whimsical, not whimsical, but shabby chic. So that's my attempt. Now maybe I should have maybe stuffed each layer a little bit with some batting, so it would have made it more three-dimensional. I'm starting to think that. I think I should have put some batting, not a lot, but some batting inside there to make the face kind of puff out a little bit. That would have been a lot better. I'm learning that part now with my appliques, learning how to do that. Here's some attempt of making roses. Well, first I'll show you this one right here. This is just a little 4-layered circle. And that turned out really cute. That'll be cute for a patch on something. It's just 4 layers, or maybe 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Yep, 5 layers of circles. Use my pinking shears and just, you know, sewed around in a circle and attached it. And here's my flowers that I attempted to do. This is my first one, and I wanted to make the circles a little bit bigger each layer so I could cut them like that, so they would fray and get like the fraying effect there. But I used some bright colors, so I like this. I used corduroy for the leaves and did some stitches on my machine, but I wanted it to be more frayed, you know, so I have to keep doing this. So I have to find a way. Maybe I'll take a little brush, like a toothbrush, a used toothbrush, or a new tooth. I'm not saying I should take a new toothbrush, sorry, and maybe take it like this and rough it up. Gee whiz. Yeah, I'll use my, excuse me, I didn't mean that. But I do have a lot of used toothbrushes that are used, and I use them for cleaning. So after I use them, I wear them out a little bit. So like that. There's that one. That was my first one. This one was my second one. And I like this one a little bit better. I took leaves from a bedspread and put them on another piece of material. And this one's a lot longer, lot extra layers, so it's more three-dimensional. So these turned out really cute. I think they would be pretty on a pair of jeans or a flannel. After I get them roughed up a little bit with a clean toothbrush. So then there's this one. This is my latest one. I wanted to do a big flower, so I did kind of like a sunflower type flower, and I used the backing. The backing is a curtain. And so what I did was I traced my pattern. I made a pattern out of paper. This is like the packing paper. And then I went ahead and I laid my material down. My material. And then I just traced around it with a permanent black marker. And then I cut it out, so I'll be using this side of it to put my material on it. So that's how I did that. So that's how you did this. And then I just filled it in with different scrap material. Now the next one I think I will do is make maybe an interfacing to make it more firm. It's too flimsy, but it's not really for the back of a flannel shirt. You would just stitch it on there, and then but adding the interfacing will make it more of a structural piece of material. So maybe if you was going to use it for something else, you might want to do that. But with me using it for flannel shirts, I want it to be, you know, flexible so that when the person's wearing it, it's more comfortable. So this is how I did it. I cut the piece of material out, and then I just took my scraps and just sewed them on. And you could do different stitches on your sewing machine. You can make it. The one thing I do regret about this is it's all dark. It's very dark. And so on the flannels, it doesn't really show up that much on dark flannels. So I had to find a lighter flannel for it to really pop off. You know, so that's what I'm looking for. But I do have a lot of flannels, so I'm sure I'll find it. But I had this in mind on one flannel, and it's just too dark, so it doesn't really show up on a dark material, say like the blue or something. But I liked it. I like making it. It was very fast and easy. And I like to make smaller ones and put them all over the shirt. And then you just do a circle in the center and cover it all up. Cover all your pieces under here, you know. So yeah, that turned out pretty good. I'm happy with that one. And these are the ones that I have been working on that's taking me the longest. There's this one. And this is just a piece of material. And actually it's a black piece of material. See, this is the back. And I started with the black piece of material, and then I added this piece of fabric for the main part of the applique. And then I zigzagged, and I did some fancier stitches. And I did this kind of a stitch right here, kind of like little leaves. And zigzag again, and then I did the stars. I love the stars. I love the white that it pops off of there, you know. And then zigzagged all the way around and attached this whole piece to the black. And then I took scraps and made like a frame. And like down here there's a bunch of different scraps. There's this one and this one and this one and this one. There's like 4 different, and they're all different sizes. There's that little red one, an orange one. And then down this side, there's this one, and I put a little pink piece of material, a little scrap. And this is the top. And this is a bunch of different materials. I use zigzag stitching, straight stitching. Let me make sure it's not unfocusing. There's another piece of material, another piece of material. There's a piece of material. Just little tiny patches of different scraps. And then there's this side. So this will go on the back of a flannel, and I really like that. I like how colorful it is. I like how just different. It's different. So that's that one. And then this one has taken me the longest. I really like it. It's almost like kind of like a quilt. But This is something that you can do in front of the TV, sitting down, because this one is like I started with the black. Here's the back of it, all the stitching. So I started with the black. This is one piece of material right here in the center. And what it is, it was a dress, and it had some flowers, and it was kind of wild looking. So that was a scrap, and then I did a grid on this one. So I don't know if you can see it, but there's a grid with the sewing machine. I did a grid all the way in the inside here. And here's the back. So there's the back. That's what the grid looks like with the stitching. So I kind of like quilted it a little bit, and then I took a bunch of scraps. I mean, this one's got a lot of different scraps, and it's not straight, so don't, you know, it's just a piece of art. It's not a perfect piece of it's just something I added, different things. So I added the red and the blue, and there's that piece and this piece. There's about 10 pieces on this side right here. And then I did some zigzagging stitches with my machine. And then this is the top part. And this one has a lot of different materials, you know, all the way around, different quilted. I just put it on there and sewed it together. Didn't care if it was straight or anything like that. I just fouled along and trimmed on the back if I wanted, trimmed on the back side before I would attached it to the black piece, and just all along there. It's different. This one's got a scarf, and like I said, it's crooked, and there's a little bit of the black showing. That's okay with me. There's a piece of red. And then I went and used embroidery thread, and I started with some pink. You can't really see it though. So I switched to the cream on the black so I could do some stitching so it stands out a little bit. I took my sewing machine and I did the stars because I really like how the stars show up. And I did some embroidery whip stitching throughout the different piece. So yeah, that's what I've been up to. And you can take all your stuff, and you can, if you have a lot of scraps, there's so much you can do with it. There's so many things that you can do and sit down and create. There's so much stuff you can do. I mean, and you'll just keep getting better and better because you're exercising your creative muscle. And I hope this inspires you. I know it's a little different. I'm getting ready to apply some of these to my flannel shirts. So keep watching and do what you love, and do what brings you joy, and do what makes you happy, and you know, and keep creating, you know. And I hope you all have a blessed, wonderful day, and I hope you subscribe and comment. I love your comments. I try so hard to get back with you. Sometimes it gets lost in the feed, but I'll find it. I will find it, and I will reply. And I just hope you all have a blessed day. Thanks so much for watching.
All the way, baby.